Hey everybody, it's Jasmine, your brow expert. Thank you so much for joining me. So today's going to be something I've touched on before, but it's worth showing you guys again. Now, I'm almost always going to talk about the brow shapes and how to best get your brow shape, because I believe that is one of the hardest things to do when you're making up your face, right? But every once in a while, I'll give you guys a little take on something a little dramatic. And I always believe, almost always, that an ombre look is, I believe, the best dressy look for almost anyone out there. And I also think it can be one of the easiest things to do. And so stick around if you want something a little bit dramatic or a lot. And an ombre, just by the way, if you're not sure what that is when it's dark and light at the same time. So meaning like it's light up in the front, it gets darker towards the end of the eyebrows. So that can be that dressy look where it's not too dark and funny looking up in the front, but it does get darker towards the end of the eyebrows, and that can give that dramatic look. So if that's the look that you want to learn, then you definitely want to stick around and get your tips today for that ombre dramatic look. Before we get into that ombre look and me showing you the model that I will be doing that ombre look, and on myself, because I always use myself as a model, and you guys know that I have an old brow tattoo, and I say it's old because I think it's about 5 or 6 years old as far as the last time I got my microblading tattoo done. Every once in a while I will touch it up. This has actually been the longest that I've not touched up my eyebrows. Kind of like a little faded away right now, but I'll go in these different phases and probably will get that touched up somewhere down the line. And I do have some videos on eyelining tattoo, on pros and cons of microblading the eyebrows, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. But so I try to get as realistic on myself, but the most important thing for you to know is that I use myself also just because I want you to see how I hold the tools when I'm applying makeup on my eyebrows, because obviously it's a little bit more difficult to see how I'm doing that on the model. But so you get two things at the same time. But before we get into that, I just want to quickly thank you guys. Thank you all for being a subscriber. If you haven't already, please do so. I want to quickly also thank YouTube, because it is such an amazing platform, and I didn't think it was back in the day, but it really is, because I find myself going to YouTube for a lot of tips and tricks and how-tos. And that's why you guys are here, right? So over the years, I have gained a lot of subscribers, and I want to thank you guys for that. I also want to thank you for coming into the salon, which, by the way, I still shape brows at the Anastasia Beverly Hills salon. So thank you for coming in, trusting me with your eyebrows, and I give you guys hopefully the best brows that you have ever had, and some tips along the way for sure. But I also just want to devote this little minute or so to thank you guys for subscribing, because YouTube, after I guess you hit over 100,000 followers, they want to award you with a plaque and say congratulations. So I thought that was pretty cool, and because you guys are responsible for this plaque, I thought, why not to show it to you? I felt a little like, should I not? I wasn't sure if I was going to share it with you guys, but I thought, oh, why not? It is kind of cool. So it's actually really big and very nice, actually. So I guess the more you have subscribers, the more you get different colors, and it just looks fancier. But this is pretty fancy. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's like a really crazy reflection here. But it just says, presented to Jasmine's Arch for passing 100,000 subscribers. So again, pretty cool, right? I think so. But the cute thing is that my husband was like, oh my God, I don't know if he got more excited about this than I did. So I thought that was cute. So thank you so much for that. So let's get back into why you guys are here. Aside from having these dramatic eyebrows today, I always will touch on brow shapes and the unevenness. And this client is no different from having uneven eyebrows. So without further ado, let's bring in this brow shape. Okay, so as I've said, there's going to be some unevenness on this eyebrow. Before I get into applying the color, I just want to point out that the side I'm actually going to do the eyebrows, the color dramatic look, is her lower uneven side. I mean, the lower side, the side that she particularly does not like. And you can see that I am already mapping it out. The pinch of the nose, corner of the pupil. I've now learned to say pupil because I in the past said iris, but anyway. So right here, if you go right at the pinch of the nose and go right over the pupil, can you see my, you know, that dark rim over the iris? Right at the corner. I've even told my clients, imagine like 2 o'clock or, you know, that is your arch right here. Notice that it's at the corner and it's never right at the middle of the eyebrow. So the corner is very important because that also helps in filling in, making the outline, drawing in the eyebrow. So I always tell everybody, make that little mark. It's always like a half an inch or like even a tiny bit longer than a dot. Because this really does help, I believe, in making that arch. Okay, so as you can even see, again, I'm showing both of the eyebrows, but I'm only going to do that side of the eyebrow. It's her right eyebrow. Yeah, it's her right eyebrow, I think. But anyway, that doesn't really matter because you're going to see me doing this side of the eyebrow. I could do the other side because my side here is much lazier. It's lower than this side, as I'm showing you on hers. But again, we're just going to work on that side of the eyebrow because the most important thing today is about the darker dramatic ombre eyebrows. So I made that line and I'll make it on myself as well. Again, pinch of the nose, corner of the pupil. Right here is my arch, and you know this side is naturally kind of higher anyway, but ignore that part. Anyway, so here's my dot. Now I made that first outline. The outline is above the eyebrow, so that's also very important. And you notice that I started in the middle. I didn't start up in the front. Remember, the first time you press your eyebrows with the pencil, I find that it can be the heavier pressure, which is fine because you need to feel how hard or light you're pressing, right? So try to go in the middle to the middle of your eyebrow and then make that outline going towards that little dot or that mark that you made, right? So you're going in an angle. It doesn't matter if you have square, round, or whatever shape brow you have. You always want to go in that angle, okay? And you're just kind of scratching, and notice that I'm laying the pencil down. I'm not holding it this way. So I'm going towards that angle. Now keep in mind, I'm using my higher side of the eyebrow. Her side is the lower side. So I don't typically use this side of the eyebrow because I don't want to like go over my eye and then you guys can't really see. So this is just always a little easier for me so you can get a clear look. So right here, but you know, sometimes if you wonder, how does she do the other side? This is how I would do it, really. Okay, so I did the outside corner. Now I'm getting behind here. So now I did the bottom part of the eyebrow. So bottom meaning like at the lower end. Now, if you don't clearly see your middle to the end of the eyebrow because it's really sparse or very thin, just follow that little marked line that you have. I'll exaggerate this a little bit higher. So that's that arch right here, right? So that is your point. Now, if you feel like you don't, well, how long is the end should be? I didn't show on the model, but right here at the side of the nose and the cornea, this is how long the end should be. So if you see that little area or make that little mark, you know just not to go past that line. So, and then underneath, now let's do the bottom like I did hers. So right below, just go a little below. You don't have to go a lot below. Just if you're like, I don't see the hair like you're seeing her, or the model, just go below that first line up here and go in the same direction, but a little bit higher in that little peak area. And then just go a little bit lower, but not too far down here. You don't want to drag the eyebrow down. You want to go out. So I'm going this way as opposed to pulling the pencil down. So kind of practice at that as well and know how you're holding the pencil. So again, I'm not passing that little line, the second line I made right there. So there you go. The bottom outline and the top outline, you can see that little gap in the middle, right? Just like I have in on the model. So most of the focus, again, is just right in the middle and the end of the eyebrow. Don't worry about the front yet, because the front area is going to be where it needs to be the lighter side of the brow. That's the ombre look. The middle to the end's got to be as dark as you can go. Now, for those of you that are not my color or the model, you're blonde, you want to go with something. This is an ash brown. I'm using a darker pencil than ash brown so you can see in the video. But for those of you that are blonde or like medium blonde, you want to use like a taupe or a medium brown. But you still want to use something that's a little bit darker. So maybe a medium brown if you're more of a blonde color. And don't forget, you can use 2 different colors. Keep that in mind as well. So this is the easy part, right? You saw me filling in her eyebrows right here, just pressing a little harder now. This is where you want to press as hard as you can, but not too hard, of course. And for some of you, you might be like me, where you don't have any hair over there. Mine's that little tattoo, but this is where you can really just be generous with the application. So that's where you press a little heavier and you get that darker look. And so always creating that outline makes it easier to fill inside the eyebrows, right? So now I've shown you, look at that. Already that, you get that before and after. So I'm going the middle to the front now, but I'm still carefully not going towards the front too much. Use the spoolie brush always, because the spoolie brush really blends everything together and moves the color around so it doesn't look so harsh. Even though it's a dramatic look, you don't want this kind of separation. You still want that blended look. Okay, so I filled it in, and then like her, like the model, I just went lightly, and now I'm not pressing as hard. I'm just going lighter and lighter, and I'm still just kind of, the reason why I'm going in the middle and towards the front a tiny bit is I want to merge the colors in. Even though this side is darker, I want the middle to be still some color, because again, you want dark, middle, and then light up in the front. So it all has to merge still. You don't want to see such a big separation from dark and light. You want it to, it's like a, what's that word? Like diffused, right? Or when a picture fades away. So first it's like a clear dark picture, and then it just starts getting middle to the light, fading away. So this is fading away as you go up in the front. So just keep those words in mind, because then really I think helps in making sure that you don't go too much. Okay, so, and that actually can work. You're probably looking at this eyebrow and going, you know what, that doesn't look so bad. Like she can actually get away with just this look and not have to do much. Or even like on myself, you can see she probably doesn't have to do that much up in the front now. She can get away with this look and go, okay, I'm done. But you know, we're not totally done yet, of course. But so definitely this pencil, the Brow Wiz, is skinnier. I believe it's easier. You know, you get more control out of it. So, and by just going, see these little strokes? I'm not doing these long-winded lines. It's tiny little strokes. That's all you need to do. Okay, so now just real quickly, you're going to see another product that I'm using. Now, this is something that's optional. You don't have to do this gel, but this is a dip brow gel. There's some color in it. On her, I'm using medium brown. On me, I think I'm grabbing an ebony, but you can even just get, I could probably use a medium brown on myself as well. The reason why I'm just using a tiny bit of dip brow gel up in the front is to darken up the hairs up in the front. I really like to see hair. I don't want it to see so much solid color, even though the middle to the end is solid. So this just really elevates the hair. Remember, this is the lazy side of the eyebrow. The hair is actually laid down. Her other eyebrow, which is why I'm still showing her other eyebrow, is that the hair just grows up. The side that I'm working on right now, her hair actually lays down. So the gel actually helps, and applying some color on the hair to add a little bit of depth, but it's also pushing the hair up, and it's adding that texture. So, you know, you can even just do this as you're seeing this right now, and that's it. That is the ombre look. But like I said, I love to see hair. Even if it's a dramatic look, you don't want it ever to be so dark and boxy and just overtakes your face up in the front. I believe, you know, if it's dark at the ends, that's fine. You can really get away with that look, but keeping the front nice and soft is the most important thing. So, and in this case, it not only kept the brows up in the front soft, but as you can see right here, the hair, you can see the hairs, and they are a little darker, but they're also a little thicker because the dip brow gel applies some product on there, so it adds texture, it adds thickness, especially if your eyebrow hair is real soft, like actually hers. I actually do have some hair up in the front, and mine's also very soft. So that's another tip. If you have very soft eyebrows, brow gels can really make it look and feel thicker. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, highlighter is something I always do, right? Whether it's a dramatic look or a natural look, you can do a highlighter, you can do a concealer, but the reason why I always do the top is to also like make the brows pop, you know, especially in this case. You can definitely go in the underneath and above. So I go underneath. Now this is I'm using a matte shell. The shell highlighter also has like a shiny color on the other side. You can see right here, I'm not going to blend too much just so that you can see that it pops, right? And then on the top, now I like to do the top, again, like I said, it really makes the brows look more dramatic, but partly because the dip brow gel can get a little messy, so that's very important to keep in mind. When it gets a little messy, these little guys, I mean, just it highlights, it conceals, it does everything. I often call it an eraser. So the brush 18 is also that brush eraser. So I like to go right underneath to spread the highlighter around. In your case, it can be a highlighter or even a concealer. So anything you have that can hide or highlight. I believe when you're going around a very dark eyebrow, you're just really cleaning it up and polishing it. So, and that's why sometimes when you're applying the color, you're like, oh, I don't know if it was too... Don't try to use your finger or try to take off what you think is too much. Wait till the end and try with the brush and the highlighter, and maybe there you can really make that correction. And again, on myself, I'm not going to blend too much because I really want to show you just that big difference right here. So I would probably use on myself on the top if I just want it to be more blended at the top, because my skin's obviously darker than this person, is that I would probably go a little bit darker up in the top, but still do some sort of concealer just so that it gives that polished look. But can you guys tell that the front is not as dark as the end? I hope so. But that is something that I would like for you to practice on if you want something that's on the dramatic side, right? So this would really just, I don't know, you know what? Even on her, you can tell it doesn't have to be that dramatic. Now I'm going over it with a clean spoolie brush because, you know, sometimes it can get a little clumpy in some of the areas if you're using that dip brow gel. Now I didn't show it in the model, but keep a clear brow gel on hand because the dip brow gel doesn't have a lot of setting gel in there. So the clear brow gel can set your eyebrows. So if you like that hair standing up look, now I'm going back and forth, and this is the time when you're putting a brow gel and then your hair separates a little bit, you could always, and you're like, oh, there's a gap right there. You could always go, but that's why I love the Brow Wiz, because you can get in between these little areas. Look at that before and after. Before and after. It's always important for me to show you that, right? Because one, it's always fun. I love before and afters. And I was like, oh, even though I've seen it like 1,000 times. But it's always good to remember what she didn't have and now what she has. And so in this eyebrow, more than on me, you can clearly see that before and after, right? And part of the reason why this works on her is if you see the before area, you can see hair up there, right? And even though it's laying down, it's not sticking up. And as you can see, the after of the front of the eyebrows, the hair is standing up a tiny bit because of the dip brow gel and the clear brow gel. It's making you want the hair to not stand straight up north, but a little bit more of an angle up. So that way it makes the brows look a little fuller. It just creates that illusion, really. And also it helps balance out with her other eyebrow. Her other eyebrow just sticks straight up, right? So it's not going to look, exactly like that. And if you have that brow where one side is straight up and the other hair lays down, you're never going to get the laying down go straight up because the direction of the hair is not growing that way, right? But you can certainly get it as close as possible. What do you guys think? I think this is a beautiful look that anyone can do. So let me know what you guys think. If you've tried this, if you like an ombre look, if you like it dramatic like this. Again, I don't think a dramatic going out dressy look has to involve even the front of the eyebrows to be dark. I don't feel like the whole eyebrow needs to be dark, but a little bit of darkness towards the end doesn't hurt. Right? And by the way, some of you guys ask me sometimes, what are you wearing on your lips? And I consciously decided to wear this red lipstick just to kind of add that little dramatic look. And so I'm a mature person, right? I'm 57. I don't wear a ton of eye makeup like I used to in my younger days. But you know what? Even if you're mature like myself and wear more eye makeup, who cares, right? I love, if it's done well, why not? Because it's an expression of art. And so I don't judge people for wearing a lot of eye makeup. I actually like it sometimes because it's beautiful. You can always take it off, right? You have fun with makeup and you take it off. So but I like a red lipstick every now and then. So this is actually, this is royal red, I think, or yeah. So I will write this red down by Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I sometimes like to balance it out with like a brownish red lip liner. This is called Chai. Lip liner is everything for me right now, especially with the Anastasia Beverly Hills lip liners. They're like the best. So I will list that in case you guys are wondering, what lipstick is she wearing? I will also tag that. I will also tag these products. If you haven't already figured out by now, you can probably just tap the screen and like, oh, I want to buy that. So there you go, right? Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for just being a part of this family. And yeah, that's it. And I will see you guys right back here next week.